Welcome to Dow's Weekly Digest, America. Hey, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring on 2021. We're ready here at Financial Markets for 2021. I have some transformations that I'd like to share with you, but before I kind of get into that, let me share some cowboy wisdom. Here's a short one, but it's a good one. I think it is. A horse needs direction, not correction. Now again, as I said, it's kind of short, but boy, it's good food for thought, folks. Not only for a horse maybe, but for kids, for spouses, for associates, for yourself. A horse needs direction, not correction. Well, let's see what the Bible has to say, how we can learn from that, folks. I'm going to call it Fireworks of Life. Fireworks of Life. And a little, maybe start out with a little added South Dakota trivia. Did you know that in South Dakota, we can buy and we can shoot fireworks 2 times a year? One in July and the other over New Year's. 2 times. And my message for today, I'm going to share with you, comes from a book that I get called Our Daily Bread. And it's entitled Fireworks of Life. And the Bible reading comes from Ephesians 2:14. So let me share with you this reading. On New Year's Eve, when high-powered fireworks detonate across cities and towns, the noise is loud on purpose. By their nature, say the manufacturers, flashy fireworks are meant to split the atmosphere. Repeaters, blasts can sound so much louder when they're closer to the ground, closer to our ears. Troubles, too, can boom through our hearts, our minds, and homes. The fireworks of life. Family struggle, relationship problems, work challenges, financial strain, and even church division can feel like explosions rattling our emotional atmosphere. Yet, we know the one who lifts us over this uproar, Christ himself. He is our peace. Paul wrote this in Ephesians 2:14. So when we abide in his presence, in his peace, which is greater than any disruption, quieting the noise of any worry, hurt, or disunity. So, bring it on, 2021. I said transformation is taking place here at Financial Markets. And with the hard, diligent work of some of my associates here, I would like to then dig into that a little deeper. But let me put it in context a little bit with the beginning of a story. It begins with a group that's been around for over a century, folks. And it doesn't appear that new technology is going to replace them. I'm speaking of the NFL chain gang. It was the Washington-Dallas game this year, folks, the 3rd quarter, and it was raining pretty good. They got to the 3rd quarter and they had an injury on the field. And it happened to be right when they were going to do a TV timeout. So some of the players were leaving the field and going to the Washington side. And what happens? One of the cleats on the player, he got close to where the one end of the 10-yard chain is, and he snapped that chain. The person holding that looked down and saw what had happened. Now, time is clicking away of that one player coming off and them going to the TV timeout. So he immediately gets on his knees, he tries to look, and it can't be fixed. He jumps up and he starts to run, maybe faster than any halfback, folks. He's going through the different coaches and players and TV things and getting to the one place where they permanently place, at every game, a substitute chain. He grabs that. He gets on back and weaves back through, gets back there, and hands it off. And by then, the 10 yards, those stakes had not been moved at all. They then go ahead and they replace it. 10 seconds to spare. No one knew the difference at all. The NFL chain gang. You know what? No one really knew, other than I read this in a Sports Illustrated article, that even happened, folks. It was just in the background. We kind of take them for granted, don't we? They're there. We might see some of the play go to them and they have to drop it so there isn't any injuries, but we just take it for granted because the game goes on. Well, folks, as financial markets goes through this major transformation, which is the upgrading of our website, let me share with you the planning preparation done by two of our associates that were very instrumental in this upgrade here that you're going to see. The first associate is Alicia Karras. Now, she loves to get in that analytical mode and do such things as coding. Now, you ask me what coding is? I've got no idea what coding is. But thank goodness Alicia knows what coding is. Now, in her spare time, maybe she likes to listen to, get this, folks, Guns N' Roses. Or binge watch The Good Place. And when asked, Alicia, what do you love about our insurance industry? She shared with us this. She loves that she knows she's helping in the different processes of taking care of people and preparing them for the risk, and sometimes that unforeseen risk. The second associate is Charlotte Bing. Now, what does she like to binge watch? No, not TV shows. She likes to watch videos on Photoshop and InDesign. So she's really into the systems, folks, here. Thank goodness that she is. While she's doing that, she might have in the old earbuds listening to good old oldies of the Motown music that she likes to do. And when asked of her, what do you like about the insurance industry? She said this: most insurance plans can be utilized for life events and not just for death benefit. She knows her stuff. Now, both of these associates, as I said, were very, very instrumental with our upgraded website, which, like that chain gang, we're using it, you're going to be using it, and we sometimes take their efforts for granted. So I want to say, Alicia, Charlotte, thank you. Thank you very much. So, as I said, we've got an upgraded website. Our website address, folks, hasn't changed. It's fmiAgent.com. Now, maybe you've done this already, and maybe not, folks. But if you've been in our previous website, and now you're getting to the upgraded website, you're going to need to register. The registration that you used before, and it's in the memory of your computer, that's not going to carry over to this new upgraded website. So, when I go to fmiAgent.com, I'm going to go up and register. And I'm going to do that in the upper right-hand corner here, folks. So, now that you have registered on that website, let's take a little journey here. So you've registered on the website, and you have then saved it as one of your favorites. Now notice this, when I go back into it, so maybe a day later or a week later, it's going to immediately bring me into the Welcome tab. Look at this Welcome tab here. It says, folks, welcome with my name. And then it has some latest news here of some different things. Now, look, as we're looking at the screen here, look on the right-hand side. Dedicated team. This is your team, your personal team. Now, not only the internal wholesalers, as I see there, but also the other team members. I can click right on to that name where that email address is, and I can communicate directly right to that person, right to that team member. So look at dedicated team. Keep that in mind. And they've got a build, Charlotte and Alicia has, where this dedicated team is going to stay with us as we look at different areas here. I think that is absolutely great. So I get the welcome Dow, and it gives me some of my latest news there. So there's the welcome. Let's go on to the next area there. we're going to go kind of scroll across here. Now I'm looking at the news. So as I look at news, some of the things that brings up to me, comes forth to me, is the latest news events, but also then webinars, folks. It allows me to look at what webinars are available that may be in the area that I'm very interested in. Also, it has things that have been recorded, such as Dow's Weekly itself, or maybe another type of a webinar that you weren't able to make, but I can look at the recorded, and from the recorded, I can then put it on my calendar. I think that's pretty darn neat. Pretty darn neat. I might use that word a lot today. Pretty darn neat, folks. As I scroll across up above there, then so I went from welcome to news, and now I'm looking at events. It tells me the month, the whole month in the webinar arena. So I can look at the 25th of the month and see that there might be a webinar that I am interested in, and I don't have to go anywhere else to register for that. I can go right there, folks, and register for that webinar. And of course, in the environment that we're in, we're not working in a bubble here. We're seeing a lot of webinars here, folks, aren't we? But as then the COVID gets graded down and we're getting back to more of a normal situation, you're going to see live events here. It's pretty darn neat. Pretty darn neat. Now, the next area that I click on to is Agent Tools. One of the first ones I see here is multi-form access. Multi-form access. And we have two means which you can get those forms. One is maybe you're used to the iPipeline, and the other, notice the tab, it says the IXN. So these brightly colored buttons here, folks, you click onto that, and that's how you're able to access the forms. Both buttons are going to be able to get you the forms for the carrier that you need. Notice this though, as you look down just a little bit, it has direct carrier forms, and we have those buttons where you can then click onto that particular carrier. Remember, it's one that I use a lot. Example, I see American Equity here. I can click onto that, and boom, I'm right there. New business area, and now this next tab is new business application uploading. So you don't regularly just email us an application, folks. I don't recommend that. That's kind of a no-no, okay? Use new business application upload. It's secure. It's secure when it comes to us. So when you get that scanned or the application, you want to get it to us, use new business application upload process. It immediately goes then to our new business area where then they can start working on that. Staying with new business, what about the underwriting guidelines? Look at this tab. We have the underwriting guidelines of the different carriers there. Along with this area of underwriting guidelines, not just a particular carrier, it could be that I might have, on a medical standpoint, I use the phrase, I have a suspect and I wonder if they can be a prospect. And these next tabs then, these next buttons, if I can call them that and get used to that, are then useful there. First one is the NELBA Underwriting Guide. As you go through these pages here, it will be very specific for that particular impairment. Let's say it was a stroke, you're going to find that there. Let's say it's a diabetic, you're going to find that there. Let's say it was prostate cancer, you would find that there. So you can use that particular page then to get more information. Folks, they don't have to sign this. You could get that information from that suspect that you hope is going to be a prospect right over the phone, fill that out, and then use the next sheet as kind of a cover sheet. And that sheet is then called the preliminary inquiry form. So those two kind of go together many, many times. The next area of agent tools that we want to look at is here, manage your business. Manage your pending business. And we're going to use the term here, as you see, status. So I click on to status, and it then helps me manage my pending business. How so? It's going to list, as you can see, my particular cases. And if I click on the details, it's going to open up and give me more details on that particular case. Now, let's say as it takes its journey to being approved and you can place the case, it's got a question. From that question, and you have the answer, you secured the answer, you can then, as you can see, then dedicated team, you're just seeing your case manager. This is new business. Case manager is responsible for that. So I can click on to the case manager's email, or maybe I want to give her a call. I've got then her phone number right there. So manage your business. I've got status. We've got your cases, just your cases listed there. You can open it up and get further information. Manage your business pending. Now I'm in the arena where I see that it's with this particular carrier and I'm not currently contracted with that carrier. This is where you go. Licensing and contracting. And we have then, you see the button where it says after you read it and want to go forward, how to continue. On the dedicated team, as I scroll down, I see that there's an individual that is assigned to me from the dedicated team, and their responsibility is licensing and contracting. So I can click on to the email or the phone number and communicate if I had any questions. Before we leave this area, I do want to mention this, folks. This is paperless. We're going to be able to assist you and get you contracted, regardless of the carrier, totally using the paperless system. This next area here of agent tools, policy review. You can develop your policy review practice with the tools here that Financial Markets has. So we have then brought together all these different resources from different carriers on the policy review subject. We have here tools for you that in one place I can look and see which one I think fits better in my practice. How about the quote itself? We have made then available to you different buttons here as we see. iPipeline, IXN, Annuity Rate Watch. Click onto that Annuity Rate Watch and see how it's changed, folks. It comes up and it gives you immediately the MYG rates. On the right hand side, it anticipates if there's any changes to be made. If we get notice that there's going to be a change in a rate, it's right there. It tells me when that rate's going to change. We have the others, the CompuLife and the iPipeline, the IXN, all available. Again, we've brought it all together in the arena of agent tools, quotes. To carry this convenience over for you, keep this in mind. On the iPipeline button and the IXN button, at any stage, as you're sharing that rates with them, you can click on, there's a spot there, e-application, and you're ready to go. And now I'm looking at the products themselves. One is generic names, such as annuities or life insurance. You can go ahead and move over here, as you see, I click onto that. And when I click onto that, then it opens up and tells me then the carriers. And notice, as I see the carrier box, right underneath it gives me the name of that particular product. And I can click onto it and get details there. Also, we have within our portfolio what we use the classification of premier carriers in the area of annuities and disability and, of course, life insurance. They are in the middle area there that you see that I'm looking at. And I can click onto that particular button of that company, and it'll then open up and give me information on really all the products that they're offering in that category of annuity, disability, or life insurance. Oh, by the way, there's a dedicated team right here to help at any stage that I may have there. Now here's an example. I've used the company example here of North American. Then it tells me of the products available in that particular arena there. And I can click on and get some resources available, both consumer and then agent resources at the same time. Also notice when I click onto that, it has the news. So if there's any new information in this area with this company, it's right there. Sales and marketing. Look, I've got a tab here, consumer advertising. And from those samples, if one would interest you, I would then recommend that you shift over to your dedicated team, see who the internal wholesaler is, and contact them, and they would be glad to assist you. And as they open up and there's more available, they will then be placed here. Sales and marketing, calculators, and references. So I may have some tools that I can look at to help get information, and once I get the data itself, how do I use the data? And these are some tools there. And you see here the buttons of the AMO calculators. And I would recommend you looking at that. Folks, they even have generic videos. These videos are under 2 minutes. And you can send them such topics as key person insurance, succession, mortgage insurance, areas such as this. You have that video available to you, and I could send that to my clients. And again, it's only less than 2 minutes. They make them that way, and they're generic. So you might want to just look at it and see. But some useful links there on calculators and reference under the area of sales and marketing. Advanced marketing resources is the next area here, folks. One is that AMO calculators, and I kind of covered that a little bit for you. Okay. The other is virtual sales assistant. Let's build a scenario where maybe you're working with that triangle of you, the attorney, and the CPA. And you're working on this plan. And we're speaking of buy-sell. You can go to the virtual sales assistant. And if it's a sub-S corporation, you can go to that finite detail and bring up a specimen document. And I could show that to that attorney and that CPA and let them see for their client what an example of this would be in the buy-sell agreement itself. You'll be amazed at the different scenarios that they have available to you under the virtual sales assistant. Big tool there. Let's say you hired a brand new associate, and that associate has maybe been in the business less than 6 months, and they've written all their relatives, and they got that feel good. Now they're out there trying to prospect, and they don't know how. You know a tool that can be used? Virtual Sales Assistant. It's got some tools right here under the Virtual Sales Assistant that you could use in your practice for that brand new associate. You've got it right here. My point is, there is a lot of material here to help you in the advanced marketing area. These resources here, folks, are here for you to use. Who would I contact? Look, right there. Dedicated team. Right there is my internal wholesaler. I'd be contacting him or her. So we've just taken a journey and looked at the different screens available on the fmiAgent.com website. We upgraded it for a reason, to bring to you more resources, make it more convenient for you as your business then progresses and progresses and progresses. And folks, I know it is in 2021. We're looking forward to it. Bring it on. And remember this, blessed are those who ease the pain of misfortune. They shall be called insurance agents. Take care.